listeners, Harika here, and I'm super excited to welcome you to UppTalk. If you're ready to learn and get your hands work wonders in the world of information technology, then you're in the right place. When I say UppTalk, we are not just another edtech company. Consider we are your learning partner committed to unlocking your full potential. Whether you're stepping into the world of technology for the first time or looking to advance your career, we provide top-tier, hands-on courses to build up your career. Let's take our first step towards learning here and explore it.
Today we'll start the procurement chapter, which will start with the customer categories groups, setting up suppliers, and then we'll look at the P also. We'll start with the small things, and then we'll move ahead with purchase orders in most of the means, the feeds, end-to-end reputations and purchase orders. Like a lot of things in this chapter we need to cover. Let's begin our today's session with setting up supplier categories and supply groups. Look like customer category and customer group. Supplier categories. Must you need to assign one supplier category. Groups can be optional and you can assign multiple groups also. The task is pretty simple. We'll just set supplier category here. I hope all of you are aware of supplier. Supplier is a company or an individual who provide goods or services to your company to run your operations or to fulfill your goods and services requirement. Is that clear? Now why this? We'll just go with this. Supplier category. We'll hit on this plus button here. We'll simply hit supplier category. Then we'll go to the supply group. And say bring it in bed. We have done our supply category supply group. Payroll terms, as we discussed, like it's a universal thing, can be used for both suppliers and customers. More need to create that. Now we need to talk about spend categories, under which we spend the amount to run our operations or to deliver services to our customers. How this will impact your business, because remember, like we are spending in a particular way, like utilities to have a building and it's selected to see guards or security guards or cafeteria services. We spend on a particular category like food and services, security services, utility services, or admin services. Like this, we have different spend categories under which we spend the amount. To create one spend category, we have to go to this task called maintain. Spend categories. There are three options here. Although we are creating the category here, but you will see these options like create new spend category hierarchy, may maintain spend categories without existing hierarchy, and maintain spend categories without hierarchy. Normally, if you're not into big operations or you have different multiple spend categories under one spend category, you can get single categories also, like this one. Maintain spend categories without hierarchy. No need to create multiple hierarchies and then you can get a spend category. Just that you can get a spend category on which you spend the amount. If I hit here, what are we doing without hierarchy here? As I said, it all depends on your business requirement. If you have a requirement to create the hierarchy, then go ahead and create the hierarchy. No one is talking to you that. But if you're like in daily basis, you have only like small operations and you're not a big company, you can directly create some spend categories like 50, 60 spend categories where you mostly spend. But if you think there are multiple categories under which we spend, then you can go ahead with the hierarchy part also. If you think your operation is like huge and then you need to justify the organization type like that under this. This rolls up to this. This rolls up to this. And finally, this is the main primary spend category that under which you spend. You can get hierarchy also. But I've seen in the business that they go ahead with this single spend categories, not with the hierarchy part here. This is what I'm telling you with my experience far. But again, it all depends whenever you will join the partner firm or the customer. They will let you know what they want. They want a spend category hierarchy or just a spend category. I'll show you that task also. It's not a big deal. I'll hit add here. And here I'll say, let me think. Link it security services. Let's link it security guard payments. Q3 for link it billing security. Something like this you can put here. Then spend category display. Will it name only? Where do you want to use this spend category usage? Ad hoc payment expense at procurement supplier invoice. You can define it. Majorly we use it in expenses. Procurement supplier invoice. When you would use this spend category in the requisitions, how you would fulfill this through a purchase order. The revenue category mapping is for some intercom new transactions. We will skip it. We are not doing intercom new transactions here. Let's go up. If any text applies to this spend category like input VA, TGST or non-recoverable, all those things. We can put this in here, otherwise you can skip it. If you want to look at freight and other charges, for example, when you use this spend category, when you spend the amount on this category, does it attract some freight and other charges? If yes, you can go ahead and click on this check boxes. Otherwise, skip it. Track items. We will see this in our business asset chapter that using the trackable spend category, how can we create the assets? And to create an asset, we need to have a trackable spend category. We will skip this checkbox for now. Inventories, altogether different models. Now we need to go to that area. Then location, cost center market. Like if in default you want to assign with this that any time you use the spend category, this work text will also appear. If you want to do that, please go ahead, otherwise skip it. We will hit now. And what's spending here? Oh, now let's see the hierarchy that we talked about. What if you want to create a hierarchy? We will go to this and we will say create new spend category hierarchy. Let's say on this one, we will say blanket global operations, something like this. All spend categories must be rolling up to this spend category. And let's keep only hierarchy level. If you want to define a hierarchy level parent, if any parent is there for this hierarchy also. Suppose this is not top level hierarchy and there is a parent for it. You have to use some existing spend category hierarchy here to define as the parent of this. Or if this is the parent hierarchy, then you can define the children also. How can we do that? Let's see children. All this, if you see here, like if you just bring here their hierarchy, not spend categories. These are spend categories. These are hierarchy. I'm saying this is, if this is our top level spend category hierarchy, then you can add the children. Or if this is not the top level hierarchy, then you can add a parent to it. Simple. And then here in this section, we will include the spend categories. For example, what is blanket? You can add more here. Let's try to add more. A, B, C printing, marketing, data printing, training asset, furniture, ERP software, image printing, and we'll hit. Now, if you look at this, we'll hit. If you click on this, navigate spend category hierarchy here. 1 second. As you can see, all these are now rolling up to this spend category hierarchy. Clear with this? How do we add the spend categories to a hierarchy? And we get a spend category. Now we'll talk about the purchase item. Purchase item are the services or goods that we buy from supplier. We'll say create. Like chase item. Then you will list also. We'll see this part also. And purchase item grouping also is one there. Just like sales, item grouping and all those things. Let's say this. One will say security guard payments. Just like something like this will say, or you can say as you're buying it. Let's say boiler machine. Not a boiler, that will be a trackable asset. Let me think of a common thing that we use. Plastic bags. That blink is used to deliver items. Plastic bags. Something like this, you can say how you will identify this item. Every item has a code or name or something to identify it quickly. We'll say PB Delhi. Something like this. Item description. These are the plastic bags. In which we deliver groceries. To the customers. We deliver these groceries to the customer, but we buy it from the suppliers these plastic bags. Then we have to assign the spend category here that we just created. We'll say Blinkit. Then your security guard payments. That is done. If any URL is there for this item that is saved somewhere, then you can mention that link also. That there's a link for this item on the website or somewhere. Then you can put the link also. Item tagging. If it is a preferred. This is the item at the top of search catalog on requisitions. If you mark this on preferred. Let's do that. It will come at the top level. Item tag. If you want to tag this item with something like an item tag also. Let's do that. Let me open a duplicate tab here. Let's say item tag. Come on. But she is a dumb. And what sort of? Is it only doable through web service only? Check. There should be a task also for this. Come on. I do not waste our time on this if it doesn't come. What is? I'll get it. Check on the community. What the exact task for this? Maybe it's like rename something else. Oh, we do have a lot of pages here also. Let's see. Let's try one more time. And It's very slow, sure. It's not really. It's not like I want this. We'll see this later on. Much item grouping is there. I'm sure there should be a task for this. If it is not there, that would be a shame. Let's try that. This is strange item tags. I believe there was a task for it. Item grouping. Purchase items to item group. Maintain expense item group. This is a task. Let's say blanket. Delivery items. Blanket delivery items. We'll just come here and use it. Why it's not coming? What's wrong here? This is expense item group. Maintain purchase item group. This is a task. We'll say items to pack. Let's think of a good name. This plastic bag would come under raw material or packing the materials. That would be good. That should come now. Great. At least something came. But this is interesting. We'll just work on this. For sure, we have to get this item tag. If it's a service that we are creating, then we'll click on this checkbox. But it's a goods that we are doing now. We'll not click on this checkbox here. Again, any text, email, GSD, all those things. We can put it from here. Otherwise, you can skip it. Recognition fulfillment source. Remember, at the spend category level, we have selected purchase order, which is coming up here now. Sales item mapping is like the intercom transaction. We'll not do that now. Default ordering price. Let's say this costs like maybe $10 only. Currency is USD for this one. And packaging string, if you have any packaging string of it. To populate unique URL, enter a packaging string that follows the supported form. Example case 10 to box 10 each. That means a case contains 10 boxes and a box contains 100 each. Each case, each unit of measure, from largest response ending with the base unit of measure, separate unit of measure with a slash and enter a splash. Between unit of measure, we can identify unit of measure by the unit of measure, the UNC effect code or the EDI code. A big explanation. We don't need to do that now. Base unit of measure to price. We'll set 10 here. Usage, how the system will define the usage that we have used, how much by unit of use or by ordering. I'm ordering one. Consider one, or like how much unit of use I have mentioned. We'll just say unit of use. Now it can be default for ordering from the supplier also that anytime we order, this will be the default usage 10 each. We can click on this checkbox here. Otherwise, we'll skip it. Default for unit of use. If you are using this one, let's remove ordering here. We'll see both examples. We'll get one. Let me just say plastic bags. We can segregate how it looks like unit of use. And default for order unit of use. Now we'll get one more, which will say ordering. Let's hit. Now we'll just say create purchase item one more time. And this one will say cartons. You can see the difference between when we use these two items there. The same in supplier voice, we can use it. You'll see how it looks like. Cartons and say ordering usage. And the carton for big items. Spank and the blanket. And here also raw materials. That works. What was that? Packaging material. Before ordering price one, like if you order carton, if you order this box from the supplier, how much it will cost? Let's say 50. Currency would be USD. And base unit of measure is each carton or box. And this would be like 50 here. And it will be ordering only. Let's see. And we have done everything which we showed. Looks good. This is done. Our purchase item is done. Our spend category is done. Supplier grouping is done. Supplier category is done. We already have done that. Now let's start working with the supplier part. There's a BP for it. BP supplier. We'll look at that once. There should be supplier event. Let's figure it out. Default definition. We just have one step, which is supplier category is required. Supplier groupings be critical and all those things. We're good with that. Let's go ahead and create supplier. We'll say create supplier and supplier name. Let's think of it. Now we have to go to BP to create the supplier. No BP, just to check if there are any approval steps. If there are steps and he's assigned for approval review action, you check everything. Yes, just to see. Like, do we have the security group assigned to people? Suppose we initiate this process. And BP was mentioned, like it goes to some resource manager, XYZ manager, but we never assign it to anyone. Then the process will hurry. That's why I just go there and check. Got you. Supplier name will just say Fundustries. We'll just say or Industries 1 second. Fox Industries blanket. The UNS number, Dun and Bradstreet number. It's like a unique number given to the companies for their ratings of suppliers being customers. You can buy these services from this company, Dun and Bradstreet, which will give a detailed report about the supplier, like how well they are delivering goods. Are they good on providing good goods and services compared to the market? And do they follow regulations and policies? Like it's a big thing. You just need to pay them to get this number. Or you can ask directly the supplier itself that, can you please provide your Dun and Bradstreet number? They will do it. Unique entity identified. There is unique entity. Like, how do you identify them? We just know Fox Industries blanket, but do they go with some other name or some other thing? Now, we do not have that now. We just give it supplier category. We did create blanket. Remember, they can only one supplier category. And we can have multiple groups if you want. Default payment terms will say net 10 days. Within net 10 days, we'll pay the supplier. We'll just find out net 10 days. We will type how you will pay the supplier back. We'll use cash check. We can use direct debit also. Direct debit means the supplier can debit our account, not we can debit the supplier account. It's like supplier can. We have signed a direct debit form where the supplier said that when the due date will come, our bank will debit your account for the payments we own. Like that. Default payment type, we can say check. Now default reference type that we have seen earlier. Also like Brazil, these are different payment gateways. As I said earlier, also that in certain countries, like we have Payt in India and other payment gateways, OP's BeharaPay. These are also the payment gateways through which you can pay the suppliers. If you use any of this method, you can put it here and select one. And then always you have to give a reference number whenever you get this supplier invoice. That we're not doing. Let's skip it. Then accept all currencies. If you want to pay this supplier in any currency, regardless of their main currency, will it work? We'll see yes, it will work. The supplier accept all currencies. But what would the default currency that we have to mention? Supplier security segment. This will cover in security chapter, like again as I said, like 10 people will look one customer supplier, another 10 will look another 5 suppliers, and on. That's a security segment we will talk about, not the security chapter. Where is my supplier? It's taking some time, nobody's. Oh, what happened here? Where did my supplier go? I don't like this refresh part here. Not sure what happened, but it got refreshed And all this is great, but we got different tabs here. This is what we will look at it. We got the proposal. The supplier status is active here. And if you want to put it like in a hold or inactive, you can do by clicking here. Proposal supplier status. Then you can say hold or inactive, whatever you want. Reason description, like if you want to put it on inactive mode or on hold, what's the reason behind this? Then again, we have seen this in customer side also, that if you want to restrict the supplier for certain, only you can do. Like it will be used for GMC USA, GMC Canada only, and all those things. But if you want this supplier to use with all the companies, you don't put anything here. You can skip it. US number. We already talked about these things. Document link. If there is any document shared on local drive somewhere that you want to mention here about the supplier, then you can put it here. Customer account number. Now, what is a customer account number? Remember, you are a customer for that supplier. What does it mean is that they will have an account number for you and you can mention it here also. Certificate of insurance date. If this is supplier which provide insurance services to you, then you can mention that insurance date also. For example, we have tied up with some insurance company that will issue the insurance to our, employees. When did they issue the insurance to us, policy to us? We can put that certificate of insurance date also. Then payment is fine. Exclude from supplier and always discount. Suppose if you ask for a discount from supplier because we are paying early before net 10 days and all those things. What would be excluded from that discount the supplier will give us? That will be freight amount, other charges, tax amount. Whatever it is, we can pick it, like when the supplier will give a discount, he will not give discount on the tax. And freight amount, other charges and non. Here you can have early payment discount also as a category. Yes, we can have that under payment terms. We can define that. Yes, if we make payment for 10 days, we can select a different payment term, like we can say, like this, then you cannot have that. Not at this point only, we have to select like. If they are paying like, let me select anything net 5 for net 2 days. We have net 32 cent discount. Net 4 days supplier payment term, net 60 cut of day 1. 1 sec. Let's see that pay immediately. Net 20, net 5. Net 25. It means net 25 days other. But if we pay within 20 days, 2% discount will be given to us. We'll use this one. That the net 25 days are the payment terms due date. But if you pay within 20 days, we'll get 2% discount. Before reference type we have talked about, like Brazil, Finland, all those countries where they have other, payment gateways. You can use them. If a credit card, procurement credit card, is provided by the supplier for us, like it's like Amex Citibank, they have given a credit card to us, then you can add a procurement credit card here. P cards, we call them, is used to buy the stuffs and services from the. We use the card and we make the payment to the supplier. Basically, one buyer would have that access to the card and then they would have the option and to procure the items for the companies. Always separate payments. What does it mean? It means that the supplier said that even if you want to pay in OSS payment to us, let's say folks in the industry saying that please send separate checks and payments to us all the time. Do not club our payments into one payment. We can reconcile it also better. That's what they are saying. It means always separate payments. Do not pay during bank account updates. What it means is suppose someone is updating their bank account payments. Or let me correct it. Someone is updating their bank account details. They have an ICC account, but someone said like their account got changed and someone other team member who is also looking at the supplier is changing the bank account details. At that time, apparently somebody from the tragic team is also processing the payment of the supplier. This payment will not be processed for the supplier as someone is changing the bank account details. In simple words, that is what it means. Default currency remittance integration system. Now this is developed by the integration team where they will have an integration link from our account to their account which will process the payments. That is, will be delivered by and developed by the integration team, not by us. We'll just put the name here of that integration. For example, let's see. Amex remittance we do not use. Do not use their market. In order to add this all integration system. We don't have, like we have a lot of integration. We'll just not use anyone. But the purpose of this field is to put an integration which will process the payment from our bank account to the supplier bank account. Then default supplier payment memo. What does it mean? When we'll process the payments for the suppliers. Do you want to put any text on the checks that thanks for providing goods and services? Like we can put something like this. Thanks for providing goods and services to us. We appreciate doing business with us. Something like this. Any proposed children. Suppose this is a parent supplier and they'll propose their children. You can add the children also, just like any other company. We have seen that. And phone number, if you want to add any phone number, we just say 123. This will be a mobile. We'll get primary address, we'll see, yes. And it will be used for billing and shipping. Let's see if any other option is there. Then we'll add one address here because suppose you have to send a check. Then there should be an address also. Let's say 20 Queenstown. Cross. New York. State New York. Postal code. And this will be primary address used for billing revenue and shipping. You can mark it for mailing also. Other business also. Storage also. Street address also. Text reporting also. Let's say. We'll say fox@gmail.com. This way, we would issue the purchase orders also. If you want to buy something in bulk, we'll send the purchase order. For that, we have to mark the procurement checkbox here. Any web address for this one, and so come on, go up. Let's add the settlement bank account in which we'll process the payment to the supplier. This would be supplier bank account, not our bank account. Remember, sometimes people get confused that this is our bank account, not our bank account. This would be supplier bank account in which they need the payment from us. We'll say Fox as they have submitted. Fox payment account. Checking means current. In US, they call current account as checking account. We'll use India here because it's easy to remember the IFSC codes of Indian banks. We'll just use India here. Code. We'll use Steve. Bank. We'll say SDFC Limited. Basic code of that bank. Nomad printed on the checkbook. If you look at the checkbook, there was a small code that is mentioned as the BIC code, account number. We'll use the account number, something like this. Name of account, Fox Industries. Fundustries. Now for which payment type this bank account would be used. We'll just say for all of these payment types, like if you pay in any of this method, what we have selected, this account would be used. Any address for the supplier that we can mention, just say simply. Let's say Queenstown. Will it not copy from the other? No, it doesn't do that. If you want to add Queenstown, why this is not scrolling up and down here? New York, New York, and postal code. And this will be the primary address of the bank. We are good with it. Tax information. If it's a US-based supplier, then you select this tax authority form type here. Normally like 1099 supplier, 1042 supplier. You can Google about all the suppliers. There are different categories of the supplier where you have to submit declaration or the queries to the tax to the government. There are different explanations to it. 1099 is very famous for the suppliers. If you are a 1099 supplier, there is a proper way in which you submit the tax details to the government, to the US government. We'll note that now if you need tax code. Now see this part very interesting. Anytime, just like we saw in the customer also, we used to pick our customer Reliance Hotel. Or 4% tax code used to apply. 4% same thing, you can do it here also. Anytime we use this supplier, 4% will come here. Finitex IDs are there. Let's say this one, and we'll say complete definition number. This is the primary tax ID and the permission tax ID also. What tax status they hold in country. Let's say India. What is the transition tax status? Their company. Exempt EU company not interested. Not EU company not registered. Something like this. You can say, what is the withholding tax status? You are subject to withholding. Like if it is withholding, subject to withholding means we would collect the tax amount from the supplier and we would deposit it. It's not like it's supplier responsibility. Supplier will get rid of this easily. Normally people prefer this, that this should be a withholding tax code. What does it mean is that whenever we'll create the supplier invoice and whatever the tax code, they would mention that this is the tax amount. They will not deposit to the government. You have to deposit the tax to the government. That's called withholding tax amount. We'll skip that. No need to do this also for now. Alternate names. This supplier is not by any alternate name. Let's say name Fox Industries, Fox Global Industries. Let's say this is not by this name also. Alternate name usage. Where this alternate name would be used. We'll say doing business as on purchase order names and alternate supplier connection names. Remit to pay and all these things. Let's say this one also. Then procurement option. Invoice and supplier. Can this supplier invoice any other supplier? Indicate the supplier can create invoices for any other supplier also. They have different. Like this is a parent supplier which can create supplier invoices for other their child suppliers also. That's what called a parent supplier which can invoice any supplier of their own child. We'll skip that. That's used mainly in your text portal's supplier portal. Enable text changes in the supplier portal. That's like a whole different thing, whole different world where the suppliers have the access to log into the your portal. We design a portal where we give the credentials to the supplier, people, authorized people, and they can create their own. They can check their purchase orders. They can check the supplier's payment status. They can check whole many other things about their transactions that they are doing with us. Default procurement item. We'll say we'll use carton here. This would be anytime you create the supplier invoice using the supplier in the line level, by default carton will appear there. Not the plastic bag. This will come up automatically. Then this is tagged to this spending category, which pops up automatically. Can we change it? Anytime you can come here and change it. No, in the invoice we can't change. No, we can change. We can change it. It's not like it's mandatory, like this will be only there always. You can change it anytime. Again, this is a global location number, like wherever they have global locations. If they have a global locations, enable that global location number to be mentioned on the invoices. Purchase order issue option, like we'll issue the purchase order to the supplier through email only. Via email, we'll send the PDF copy of the purchase order, that items we need from them. And default pure issue email. We had created one email and this is the email, and we marked that for procurement usage also. That's why this email is appearing up here. If you don't mark that procurement checkbox while creating that email, it will not appear here. Disable change order. Suppose you create a purchase order and something happens. You said, I'm canceling the purchase order. I'm sending a new purchase order, and the supplier says, no, we don't accept it. We don't entertain that kind of thing. You have to send the purchase order in one go. We should disable change order. We have a business process also called create change order. We can skip that part. If you do that, it means the supplier will not accept a change order, a change purchase order. Then change order issue option. Again, we can say email, and this would be the email that would be used. Shipping terms. Just like we have shipping terms when you buy something from Flipkart, Amazon. We can have shipping term and shipping method also. We don't have credit yet, but I can show you that later on. How to create. Maybe tomorrow I'll show you how to create shipping terms and shipping method. Supplier minimum order amount. Just like when you go to Flipkart and Amazon, there are some suppliers. Minimum have to buy 6 pieces or 6 units from us to get this in like 100 rupees or 150 rupees and all those things. Similar thing is here also. Supplier minimum order amount, let's say 5,000. Something like this. Minimum order amount would be by default USD. Then advanced ship notice options. Enable advanced ship notice. What does it mean that? How many days before they will let you know before shipping the item? We'll say 2 days before they will let us know that they have shipped the items for us. Then if you want to add any region, location, cost, center classification. Spend categories hierarchy. We know we'll use Blinkit here by default. We'll say Blinkit Global Operations. Supplier classification. What is supplier classification? In US, particularly Canada and Western countries, we have at this moment is also there in India now and APEC regions also. But if you know that we have LGBTQ communities and we have on US Black communities, veteran communities, all those things. What does it mean that if the supplier? Now, that's a policy also in the US. If you can Google about it that you can't, what used to happen earlier? I'll just give a like 30-second that in US earlier. If I'm an owner of a white and own a company, I'll give my business to all white people only. All my requirements will be coming from the white supplier companies only. Or like when I say white means white people companies only. And if I'm black, I'll just give business to black people only. To get rid of that, the companies, there's a particular agency name in US. They said, no, this won't happen again. You have to give business to other vendors also like who are from this veterans community, widows community, LGBTQ community. People used to hate this LGBTQ community. They never used to give business to all these people. But now they said, no, you have to give business like at least 25%, and that's a corporate compliance also. They published a report to the government also. How much business they gave in a year to this kind of, registered business who identify themselves as a gay, lesbian, transgender, whatever it is, a black community, veteran community. You have to register yourself as that particular community business. And then after a big giant of you're doing some business in US, you have to get the service of goods from these companies also. That's what supplier classification means in simple words. Supply, classification by country, let's say USA. Now we can again You can create your own supplier classification. Remind me tomorrow that we have to create a supplier classification, shipping terms, and shipping method. That will do tomorrow. You have to give a Black community US a code. Now, this is certificate number. When you register yourself as a Black community owned business, then you will get a certificate number from the government also. That certificate number you have to mention here in this Black community USA. And then it was not famous. Now we're getting requirements from the client that you know. Please create a supply classification for us also. As we have. Still, many companies don't follow that. But now it's getting more and more powerful and popular that you have to give business to these people also. Do not reimburse contingent worker expense reports. You are setting up a contingent worker as a supplier goes to process a payment to someone. You need to set up them as a supplier. If this is a contingent worker, then you can say do not reimburse contingent worker expense reports. We are not setting up a contingent worker here. Attachments, if you want to add attachments here. And note. And we'll just say submit here. Looks good. Set up a bank account. Something missed out. What's that? Let's see. Enter the same. We're going to what we did not use USA. We use India or something. Let's get dropped off the type press. Our supplier is created. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@uptalk.com.